to face with like dicey stuff.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, this is
Like a board game.
this is SOMIFA game 2 for me, playing Michael Reeves and his Kansas City Chiefs, and as a special surprise, Michael's going to join us on the broadcast. Just another,
Just for fun.
like playing head to head, like Michael was saying with the board game. So here we go.
Yeah.
So what is this your
All
first
right.
game, Michael, or you've already played?
It sure is. Yes, it is. It's my first game this
Okay,
year.
so here we go. Seattle's kicking off.
Man, look at those beautiful end zones.
Yeah, I can set that up for you really quick. You know, if you want.
You did. You already showed me how to do it. I've already done it. Actually.
Okay, cool, good. Yeah, I think it adds a little bit to the game.
Absolutely. Is this your first one? Or no, you've already played one. You've already played
just
one.
So Michael's got Goff, Kittle, Mike Williams. This is a pretty good team you got here.
Yeah, this was Lawrence Green's team last year, which I took over. This will be my second year with them. I think they went 9-7. It was lousy coaching, basically. I didn't have a very good year.
There's a bad call, but a good roll as Calais Campbell makes the stop. A lot of it in Strat-O-Matic is landing on your cards at the right time.
Nothing the matter with that. Yeah, I made a trade earlier this year. Lawrence had two really good running backs in Mixon and Chubb, and just didn't feel the need to have two studs like that. So I actually dealt him to somebody for a number one pick this year that turned out to be Devin Bush.
Yeah, that was the 6th overall pick.
Yep.
So any regrets on Devin Bush over Devin White? I can never figure out which.
Not for a minute. Not for a minute. It's only three games.
Yeah, but Tom was all gushing about Devin White, I think, looking just like a stud.
Oh, he was. You're right.
I don't own either player, so I haven't really paid attention to who's doing better this year in PFF.
All right. Let's see what we got here. It just shows how crazy things are. I mean, you look at that two tight end set that we got here with like Kittle and Goddard, and mercy sakes, Goddard's out already, right? Broken ankle.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh boy, your team! I tell you what, your secondary is fantastic.
Lots of 5s and 6s.
Yes, there are. Good double team. Nice job.
No, I didn't double team the right guy. I double teamed somebody else. You threw it to the right guy.
Oh, you're right. I thought I was throwing it to Williams. I threw it to Kittle. Good no call. I don't think Mixon's card is as good this year as it was last year.
No, I don't. I think that's true across the board. The running back cards aren't as good.
No, you're right.
Lucky roll there.
Hey, sometimes the cards work out just fine.
Yep.
How are you doing in SFFT
Lost my first one. 3-1. So I won the first three and then lost my recent game.
So I played whoever has Lamar Jackson. That's the first time I've had a chance to play.
Dale, I think, has him there, or maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, Dale, that's right. I think that's who has him. I won 12-7.
That's an S28. He has it.
Oh, okay.
So you were able to stop that massive card, huh?
A lot of lucky rolls. He had the crazy stuff. I had two goal line stands, one that ended in an interception and another a stop on the one, a blocked field goal from my 10, just all sorts of crazy stuff. Just every lucky break imaginable that you could get in the game, I got. And that's what it took. That team in SFFDL isn't very good. But for whatever reason, we're 3-0. I'm hands down got to be the worst 3-0 team in the league. And that's not at all an exaggeration. The team is really bad. But I've run into some good luck. Let's just put it that way. Woo! Nice.
Ironton, you played Vero. Yeah, so that's Dale.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've got another 3-0 team this weekend.
Missed it again. And that's going to cost me.
Wow. There's your lucky roll. You hear that story about Beckham suggesting that he's not going to have the numbers that he did in the past?
Well, it's a run first team. I think that makes sense. I hadn't heard that, but if you run the ball that much, you're not going to get as many opportunities.
Well, I think they found the secret to success, and that's not allowing the quarterback to throw, but that doesn't really say much about him considering he was such a top-level pick. And, he's got a couple more years on that contract before they have to make that decision to give him that huge extension. I don't think they believe in Mayfield at all. Oh, wow. Look at the combination that you've got here. Ingram's card is fantastic this year.
Yeah, but even his card's not what you'd expect. When you're thinking about a top running card.
It's a great team. It's a great-looking team.
And no in runs anymore on Wilson's card, which is a change.
Yeah, I mean, was his carries down that much between this year and last year that they would have stripped that from his card?
They did it halfway through the testing process, and they did they had some stats that said most of his runs were not called runs. So they took him off took away the in runs, but I don't think they added him to the must runs because his must runs aren't that exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I get it.
they just kind of nerfed him, which is all right. I mean, it's still a good card.
Oh,
But
no, it's a very, very good card.
What bugs me is that they never give him the deep passing card that I think he should have.
Though, if what Glenn is saying is true, that how everybody lives and dies by PFF, and he swears up and down that that's not the case. If that truly isn't the case, I think anecdotally this year, especially in the first 3 games, I've heard nothing but positive about his deep throwing ability. Plus, he's got 2 deep threat targets now, so I bet you he'll get a really juiced up card next year.
Well, they put a stat up during that Monday night game that he's had the number 1, most attempts, most completions, most touchdowns on deep passes for the last 3 years since 2016.
Right.
So he should have had a top deep card before, but I talked to Glenn about it. He says, well, because he has so many must runs that there's only so much they can do, which, I don't buy that. I mean, you have an exceptional player. You get rid of the normal splits you do between right and wrong. Do something, instead of having, usually on a long pass guess right, you have 6 more completions guess wrong. So you'd be like 16, 22 or 10, 16 or whatever. But, you have somebody who's that good at throwing the ball. Do something different, make the splits bigger. The must runs are only on the guess right column. So stick an extra, 4 completions on there when it's guessed wrong more than you normally would. Something like that.
Right.
There's lots of ways you could do it.
But we know where this one's going.
Yeah. Better go for it.
Where I live in Kentucky, there's a high school that's about 5 minutes up the road, and I can hear the band already playing and get ready to let the kids out of the tunnel to play. Still can't believe we're playing football here in Kentucky. It just blows my mind.
So they haven't had any massive COVID outbreaks?
Well,
that's good.
I tried to hedge my bets there, but
No, I like it. You had the 2 men in zone, and you had the pass call in case I tried to pass it.
Oh, your center's at 5. Yeah, that's good. You're lying. So you play in lots of leagues, and yesterday you were talking in the Falcons game, something that I thought about too. When you play multiple leagues, you basically gain an identity. How many games when you play with a team, especially because you're in so many of them, how many games does it take for you to get a handle on your club and what they can do and what they can? Or is it because you played this game so long that maybe like the first game you pretty much know exactly what you want to do with a team, or do you kind of feel it out for a few weeks and then get a good handle on it?
Yeah, I think it's different for every coach, but for me, I need at least a game or two to really get a good feel for a team. So it's not like, I'll know right away. There's definitely different times where if it's similar to a different, another team in the same set, you might get a little bit quicker. But every league's different. The rules are different. The way the teams are carded are different. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to.
Sure.
Well, you got to be happy with Montez Sweat. He's playing really well for the Redskins.
Yeah. Hey, just for fun, like Chubb last night, he hadn't had a sack for the first 3 games, and last night the Jets line is terrible, so he winds up with like 2.5. And again, PFF's not the be-all end-all, but my autumn win team has 3 of the top 9 edge defenders: Joey Bosa, Josh Allen, Bradley Chubb. Could be fun next year. I didn't realize. I'll tell you, my SFFDL team, it has 6 sacks so far in 2 games. 3 for Allen, 3 for Cameron Hayward. You can get by. Oh, wow, look at that. You can get by with a lesser defense if you've got people who can sack the quarterback.
Yes, absolutely.
I played this game for 3 years. It's still taking me a while to figure out how best to blitz. And Tom has commented on this before. It just takes time to learn safety blitz, not safety blitz, which linebackers to bring, all this stuff. It's just very nuanced. It just takes a while to get the handle on this. But
yeah,
what's nice for me, especially if you haven't been playing for that long, is if you're in multiple leagues, you can kind of mess around and kind of experiment, especially in leagues where you know you're not going to win, but you can kind of like test things out basically, like it's a little mini laboratory. All the teams that I have are going to have different identities this year. The autumn wind will be the one that'll really compete. The rest of these teams are kind of, this one should be okay. But
no, your team here is really good. The defense, a lot of 5s and 6s in the secondary.
Thank you, Lawrence. Had nothing to do. Yeah, I mean, it's just a game. Who cares? But I feel bad because this team was really strong last year, and I wound up limping at 9-7. Lost a playoff game, and then I guess there was like another sort of play-in playoff game or something like that, and wound up losing that one too. Because I know this is a very solid league and there's good coaches in it. I wanted to do better, but well.
There's always next year.
Yes, there is. And next year is now.
Yeah, absolutely right. Oh, nice key.
Thank you. That is a hallmark of Dennis Crowley teams at Frank Gore. I don't know why it is, but I think of Frank Gore and I think
of he's been my main back in SSFA.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that Danny Vitale card. He's actually pretty good, guess strong. So if you key him, freeze him up. Oh no.
Oh brother. You hit Vitale, I'm like, what is he doing? I didn't know that he even had a decent running card.
Yeah, he only had 1 carry. But in SOMIFA you can run him inside the 5.
Oh my gosh, look at his card. Guess wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those fluke cards.
How? See, I don't get that. Like, I've got like an Andy Janovich, and like every one of his games, it's 0 or minus, guessed right or wrong pretty much on every carry. You can't tell me that an NFL running back can't fall forward and get a yard. I mean, quarterback cards are better than that, yet they give these fullback cards these terrible cards that are completely unusable. And he only had 1 carry, maybe for 1 yard. I don't know how many yards this guy had in the carry. Why do you give this guy a crazy nice card? And look, I'm glad you got it, but it's a really, really nice card for a guy with 1 carry.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's partly to do with the team. The Packers didn't have, maybe they wanted that to have something to balance off Aaron Jones so you couldn't key Aaron Jones every time. That would be my guess.
There you go.
Mark Ingram comes through.
Yes. No way I'm going to double team that.
Well, it's a learning process for all of us to get used to, or get used to things as it starts off.
Mm-hmm. Well, Goff is my quarterback in SFFDL, and just by the spreadsheet, I just didn't like his card. His short pass card is really bad. Guessed right. I just figured as his card is quite usable. I didn't realize. I mean, maybe he's just off to a decent start in SFFDL, but
No, it's you get him guessed wrong, you're in good shape.
exactly. That's just getting him guessed wrong. That's what makes it's hard. It's got to.
Well, Mixon helps. I'm sure Mixon helps, or he will as the season goes on. Five runs for 1 yard. That's unlucky.
Did you see the? I mean, it was a long draft wrap-up show for this, but they were really nice about my draft. I was real happy about that. They had nice things to say about it.
Yeah, I needed to. We never did get around to doing one for Autumn Wind.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that again. I don't have to do anything. I just call pass and he lands on the wrong number. That's not going to last all game.
No, get those zeros and ones out of the way early. So that way, when I'm down 20-20 or 21, 28 points later, then I'm getting 5 yards. Then my. All right, see.
There's a break.
There you go. I don't think I've turned the ball over once in SFFDL in 3 games.
That's a little different too, though, because then some of those cards, well, most of them are at least average, but we play just average here, so.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're playing like I've played in that league, sometimes you're facing like the poor and very poor defensive cards, just like taking candy from a baby.
Yep. Oh, dear me. Sometimes you just need to go take a walk.
But you got to cash in on those breaks. So you get a break, you got to cash in on
it. Yeah. Boy, that Toledo coach, Brandon Long, that night at the SFDL game, yeah, he was on fire defensively.
Oh, yeah?
Calling just wonderfully. I bet you he may have missed on like 8 all night. I mean, he would guess my runs correctly, passes when they were needed to be, kind of try to throw him off. It's almost like he was inside my screen or something. I just hated that for him. I mean, look, I'll win. It's just such a dirty win. He should have beat me by 3 touchdowns. And but his team is really good defensively. He's going to be tough out.
Yeah, I got to check it out. There you go again. Hitting 5s and 7s.
So, like I said, I'm going to get the stairs right out of the way. This is my backup running back. I think I'll just throw somebody else in there. That's what you do when you're a kid, right? You're like, oh, this guy's unlucky.
Finally, he hits one.
There you go. Now, did you the origins of this game for you? Did you play this when you were younger, or did you just happen to get into it later on? Or
I played a handful of games when I was a teenager, like 18, 19 years old, something like that. We found this game at a toy store, and we didn't really play a league, but we just played some pickup games. And then later on, like that was in the 80s. And then in the late 90s, I got in some Strat-O-Matic baseball leagues, played in those for about 5-6 years, and then found some people who played Strat-O-Matic football. And then once I started playing that, I was like, oh, this is way better than the baseball game was good, but this is even a step above that. So
there's no game they have in the library that's like this.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different factors that you can change. Whereas baseball, there's just only a few little things that you can do.
Yeah.
And basketball is kind of like that too. I mean, at least there's some decision making as far as like an outside shot penetration, some double teams, things like that. But this one here, I mean, almost the whole board, it seems like you can move. And it just seems like there's more coaching involved in this. I love that dreaded 5, I do.
Yeah, I like dreaded 5. That way, that's your name in the game, your chat name. So the game must have picked up on that.
Courtesy of you, you should change that name, dummy. That's it. Put out some effort.
You need to change your name to Hitting an Edge or something like that.
So when I was young, we had Strat-O-Matic baseball. I started playing when I was 8. The game was introduced to me by one of my neighbors. Didn't play advanced, just basically played basic. And we had other games like that, Ethan Allen spinner baseball, some dice games, things like that. But loved Strat-O-Matic baseball. But it wasn't until I had the football game, but the football game for me, it's really tough to play solitaire.
Yeah.
And I had friends in the neighborhood who played basketball with me. We played tons of basketball, but I just couldn't find anybody who could sit through a game of football. And I know there's charts and all, but solitaire, it's just not fun for me. I just don't enjoy it. So it wasn't until 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It was unfortunate when it happened. I was in the hospital at the time. One of my parents was hospitalized, and we were staying there pretty late. In fact, I stayed the night at the hospital one of those nights, and I was just kind of bored sitting around and got on YouTube. I said, wonder if anybody's even playing Strat-O-Matic football, and if so, what they're doing with it. And I just happened to catch a playoff broadcast that Tom Cook was doing.
That's crazy.
And watched another one, and that's when I reached out. I had played online basketball back in my 20s with Ed Barrow, a basketball league that he had run.
Yeah. The SOMIFA.
What's that now?
The name of
SOMIFA. That's correct. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
If you look at our website address, it has that SOMIFA in the URL. Like that's part of the URL because I think he originally created it to make a website for the Strat-O-Matic basketball league he was running.
I see. So I played in that league while I was in graduate school in Miami for like a year and had fun with it. But I thought, I wonder if he's still doing this. Just a little Google search, and there you go. There's SOMIFA. And got hooked up with the SSFA or SSFA. That's the longest tenured league that I've been in. And
nice.
Since then, 5 leagues now? It's fun. I just like the camaraderie with this. The people are really nice.
So did Ed remember you?
Yes.
He said, "Oh, Michael."
Yes, he did.
There's a big one for
I don't want that jerk back here. He never returned his games in time. Something like that. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing.
No, that wasn't it.
No, Ed's a very nice person, and you help run a lot of these leagues. Ed put so much of his time into this. Paul Mankiewicz, Larry Davis, all the time that's committed to putting these things together, and the drafts and the upkeep on the website, and everybody turn their rosters in, and everybody turn their rosters in, and everybody turn their rosters in, just nonstop, having to stay after people. It's a labor of love, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, another nice key, but better roll, I guess. Yeah, when you get a correct key like that, you're always, as the offensive coach, you're like, come on, be on the D cards for once. And
yes,
that worked out.
The other way around.
So who were your basketball players back in Ed's league? Do you remember?
Gosh, that was like the mid-90s, 93, 94. I had to pull that out, to be honest with you. I think Mark Price was on that team. He's always been – I've always loved Mark Price's game. I remember, like, one of my best players was – the most notable players was Juwan Howard. He just had this team as score and rebound league. I used to rebound like every team, basically. It was tough to play. That's a lot of games to be playing. Just track of.
Michael, you're really breaking up.
Kind of a grind, so I didn't stick around.
Fair enough. Yeah, I do remember Juwan Howard. He was a good player. One of the Fat Five.
Yep. Well, I wonder if we got it just delayed. Here we go.
Yeah, but you were breaking up a little bit when you were talking. I thought, oh, maybe his internet connection isn't that great. But you're on your phone on the broadcast, right?
I am.
So it might not make a difference. See, I finally
I was going to say.
That was a guess right and run call for the first
call
time in forever. That would have been a fumble even if I had guessed wrong.
Yep.
Unlucky, 1 out of 1,000. Well, maybe you're getting.
What was the percentage on that fumble again?
On the fumble, 1 out of 1,000.
Oh, God, wow.
I mean, oh no, you need it. It's point 0.6, so it was 6 out of 1,000. Or is that even right? Yeah. I think it's 0.06 actually. I should get my calculator out. No one told me there was going to be math on this.
This is an educational opportunity.
Clear 6. Yeah, so 0.006 is the correct answer. That was the odds of a fumble there.
So 1 in every 167 carries.
Something like that. What? Well, he's a minimum fumbler, so.
So we can all agree it was just a bad break.
Definitely.
Oh, man.
Nope, missed it.
There's a good break. They all even out.
For the most part. Maybe not game to game, but for the season, usually.
Oh, absolutely. Over the long haul. I felt like last year I was snake bitten in SFA. All those overtime losses and real close losses. And you only remember the ones that get away. You don't think about, but how about you think about the bad ones that just. I know that drives people absolutely nuts, but and here we go. Man, good call there.
Not really.
Oh, bad break.
Let's see. Look at my field goal kicker. I don't think I have a deep guy here. Yeah, so it's time to go for it. Because if you punt it here, you're only going to pick up 18 yards probably.
Right. I don't disagree with that. I'm surprised teams don't do this more, to be honest. I mean, a long field goal there. I mean, even move it in 5. If you miss it, I'm going to get the ball there anyway. So,
Yeah.
Well, that's a given. Let's see what else we got here. Is Gordon on a team this year?
He's signed to Seattle, but he is he's suspended. The NFL hasn't reinstated him yet.
Oh, I see.
He can't play until they give him his, give it back to him, give him, put him back in. Looky.
There you go.
All the rolls going my way so far.
Yeah, that though probably wasn't too smart of mine. No sense in keeping that free safety back there. I should have double teamed him with somebody. If he goes over the top, he goes over the top. And who are you going to go over the top with? Could have been him. I mean, if you beat me with Williams, yeah, that wasn't very smart.
There's no guarantee that would have been the one that you doubled too. So I mean, it's hard to say because I had thought about, okay, he's probably going to double everybody. Maybe I should throw flat. So I saw the flats were vacant, but it would have been on the quarterback's card, so it wouldn't have been a first down. So you're always balancing those things. I like the throwing short though, because you have a chance to get it a dump off. If you're. Russ is hot today.
Wow.
Good call. Another one.
That's hitter gapper there. Now, see, that's where you miss your Russell Wilson end run.
Right, because this is a good place, inside the 10 to have that as all those short gains really help.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you're going to get more pass calls.
There you go.
So, keep sneaking around there.
It's a nice call. Nice call.
So this is one of those where it's like no matter what you do, the rolls just keep coming your way.
Well, yeah.
Half the game left though. That's
I mean, obviously the 2 turnovers didn't help a lick, but I'm not really navigating this real well. Defensively, I'm a little embarrassed, but that's okay. If we get I'd love to figure out a way to get a score here for the break.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. When you're down 3 touchdowns. You just want to like hit a big guest run on Mixon or hit a long pass or just drive it down and take up the time and wind up with some points so that way you can regroup in the second half.
Well, that was a good call on your part. I mean, I think everybody in the universe would have guessed past there.
I haven't been guessing run enough this game.
There's actually 2 facts that credit the cloud in AFL. Cloud. There's actually 2 facts that credit the cloud in AFL.
Now, I wonder why Strat-O-Matic won't allow a hurry-up option before the 2-minute warning.
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good one. And you hit it. Nice.
There we go. Well, we're getting close to a score before the break.
Yeah, I felt that was coming, but I thought you'd go back to Beckham. So, good call.
But that's a guess right lucky 4 or 5, but that's not bad. Just boy, don't hit that 10. I think he did have more interceptions in my life this year. But like I said, I haven't seen it since I feel it.
I missed that. It was totally garbled.
I said he had more interceptions in real life last year. And it's reflected on the cards.
Oh, yeah. Oh, back to back. I like it.
Well, you say that.
I like the idea.
I thought for sure you were going to call around.
I tried to go for the 102-yard return.
Well, maybe there's a 98-yard pass play.
It's better to do that when you're at the back of the end zone because when you get the 4-yard return, it's still a touchback.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
There's another time when you want to have those end runs up on Russ's card because you can hit those short gains, get out of bounds, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you're at the midfield. Well, finally, I get a dreaded 5.
Now, how many end runs does he typically get in a game?
6.
Not this year, obviously.
Well, yeah, 5 or 6.
Okay.
I thought it would
It's
have been.
just
I thought it would have been fine for them to like lower it to, I don't know, 1 or 2 end runs. 2 end runs would have been good, because then you would have gotten.
that's
You would have gotten,
strange to me.
I saved a couple games. He actually had like, I don't know, what was it, 60, 70 carries on the year, and without the end runs on there, he gets like half that in a typical simulation in a stock league. So there's definitely something off there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had let's see, 75 runs, and in a regular simulation he gets like 35 to 40 is what he usually winds up. So by taking out the must runs, and trust me, I mean, all the other years where he had them, I would always go over what he actually ran, because I would use them more strategically. So it's fine. I mean, me not going to be able to approach 75 runs because I only have must runs is probably good payback for all the times I ran over 100 times with his end runs.
Yeah, that's something that's interesting too to me. How Strat-O-Matic determines, fatigue, and of course, the way we play it, like you can, like you got like a back like Adrian Peterson, who, wow, they allow him 22 carries a game.
Right. I think I may have lost you. Michael, you there?
I'm here, Dennis. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How come you didn't call time out there? You had 15 seconds left.
When I pulled the menu down, it basically said spike the ball or hurry up. I don't think I had a timeout left.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I didn't see if you had already used your timeouts. I forgot to look at that.
Oh well, I messed up. Whatever you don't tell Tom.
I just glad it wasn't a technical issue, because it sounds like it really sounds like you're underwater.
Yeah, I called that third timeout to stop the clock on that front.
Right.
And I was. Yeah, there's a like I've got the volume like as high as it can go on my phone, and now because I've had the phone turned upside down, so I've not been. I couldn't even see your screen if I tried. You know that, but so now I'm on the stream program here, and I've got the mic turned on, and I've got it up as loud as it can go. But I agree with you, because like you sound only half as loud, and I think part of it was where I got some calls and some texts from work after work, and I think it's kind of goofed up the phone. So sorry, not the quality isn't quite there, and I don't want to take away from your broadcast. I mean, because I think this game is pretty much in hand. It's getting there.
Hey, there's lots of time left. Trust me.
Absolutely. Have you always been a Seahawks fan?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was 9 years old when the Seahawks came into existence, and I was just starting to follow the NFL. And I read an article in the Cerritos Advocate about Jim Zorn, local kid, was going to get a chance to be the starting quarterback for the expansion Seahawks, and that's when I decided to make them my team.
Okay. So let's see, 76 was their expansion year. Is that correct?
Yep.
So
and I wound up going to the same high school as Jim Zorn, but like 9 years later.
Yeah.
So
when we were kids, we were pretty isolated. We didn't have like cable TV back then. Where we lived in basically was just your major networks, and that was it. So a lot of what we knew. There's another big play by that fullback. I'll tell you what.
he's on fire. So
Yes, he
you
is.
were, I take it you were in Kentucky then, or
I was
Ohio?
in Southern Ohio at the time.
Okay.
And so, we grew up big Bengals fans, and Coy Bacon was our player because he actually grew up. He was from Ironton originally. He played in Ironton High School. He went to high school with my mom. So a lot of what we followed with football was the Bengals. But a lot of our, again, you're only given just a couple of channels to watch. So a lot of what we knew about other teams was football cards.
Yeah.
And so, we didn't have a newspaper that really followed professional sports that much, but we did know there was an expansion team coming. And until the football cards came out, we didn't know what their uniforms were going to look like or anything. And frankly, you've got these players who are, they got their other team's jerseys, don't even have the Seahawks team just yet. So it's basically whoever was picking up that expansion draft. But it was fun to see that. That was the first time I'd ever seen like an expansion franchise. And even when I was little, and I'd look at these players, I'm like, I was like only 6 or 7 and even knew then that these teams are going to be terrible. There's like, I don't recognize any of these players from like any time in my life, but now
and they were terrible for a little bit, but they got good in a hurry.
And they were. Like, I mean, I remember where I was when the Buccaneers won their first game. When they played the Saints, which if you go on YouTube now, you can actually see the full game. Some people have been gracious enough to take their VHS tapes and convert them into videos for everybody to see, which is really cool. But again, who in the world is going to see New Orleans and Tampa Bay come week 13? They still did regional games, so you're going to get the Bengals, you're going to get the Browns,
right.
Or you're going to get the national game, and it's going to be the Cowboys. So, like, a very select few people in New Orleans and Tampa would have actually seen that game, but they would break into the game that we were watching, and my brother and I are just still distinctly remember just going crazy. Oh, we're going to win a game. They're going to win a game. We're like just going beside ourselves. Oh, I wish we could see this. We were like so excited for them. They were rooting so hard for them to finally win one. And boy, for them to have such two terrible seasons and then a couple of years later to turn it around and have a chance to play for the Super Bowl, it's an amazing turnaround.
Yeah. We kind of made a mistake here. I forgot to share out the game ID. Probably too late now, but see if anybody wants to join. But yeah, that's so they was like one of those cutaways where they're like, "Hey, here's something exciting. Switch you from your normal game to this game of interest."
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I have some Seahawks games on VHS and DVD that I've converted. They're all digital now. They're all on a Plex server here at the house. So
yeah, we got Plex here too. That's a
really.
My brother does ever gift ever again because basically I'm all the time on his library.
Nice.
All sorts of good stuff on it.
Zeb's got a bunch of old games as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Of course, his favorite team's the Rams, but he also has he shared some old just like general football games like 1972 Monday Night Football, Falcons and 49ers, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like watching that kind of stuff. I do. It's so different though. 70% of the time you're just like running and running and running. It's just it's different, but it's fun to watch football from that era. Actually, I grew up a Rams fan too. That's my earliest memory of football when I was 6. Watching, my cousin told me to like the Rams, and so I decided to like the Rams. And I always loved their helmets and the collars. Their uniforms were so different than everybody else's, and I was hooked. Of all the professional sports leagues, and I like the Cavs, I like the Indians. I'm an OU Bobcats fan, like the Buckeyes, but the Rams are the one franchise that I've followed more closely than any other.
Well, they were the Cleveland Rams at one point, so you do have a little bit of a tie in there with Ohio.
Yep. And I remember reading that in books when I was little. I used to read so much about just football. Has always been just a real passion. I love everything about this game. And even with everything that's going on right now, with all the craziness, and man, there's a lot of craziness going on, just to sit back and just not think about anything and just lose yourself in a football game, there's nothing like it. Nothing like
Yeah. I agree.
And I haven't seen very many live games. I mean, I live about 2.5 away from the Bengals. I've seen a couple of their games. And when I was in Miami, I saw a Monday Night Football game. But that's been it. I haven't seen very many live.
Oops, that's a mistake. Sorry, fast clicking.
Um,
Yeah, I would always go watch the Seahawks and Raiders, when they would play over here, or the Seahawks and Rams when they would come over here.
Yeah.
I've been to quite a few.
The last game I took my brother to, it was a Bengals game. The Rams were playing, and it was at Paul Brown Stadium. And I think the Rams had won 2 games, and the Bengals had won 3, and it was the last game of the year. And it was the week after Christmas, and I bought him tickets for his Christmas present. Said, at the time we didn't know how bad the Rams were. And we drive up to Cincinnati, like I said, a little bit over a 2-hour drive, and it's miserable. The weather is so bad. The weather is so goofy. It's 34 degrees. It's not cold enough for the snow to be snow. And instead, it's like this real cold rain, slushy, disgusting rain. There's the stadium has to be like a 20% capacity, and we're these idiots. We're like 50 rows up in the end zone, basically watching. He's watching the first NFL football game he's ever seen. Miserable experience. He just shook the whole time. I couldn't keep him there past halftime. I had to get him out of there. It just was so cold. He just doesn't like cold weather and doesn't like. I mean, who does? Yeah, who? Raise your hand if you like cold, wet, rainy weather. Watching a Bengals game. I mean,
Did you? So who won the game?
well, funny story. I took him out of there at halftime, and he wouldn't mind me telling this. I love my brother to pieces. So I told him, I said, look, Joe, we don't have to worry about the football game. Just put that out of your mind. We're going to go to Montgomery Inn. There's a barbecue place up here that is absolutely ridiculous called the Montgomery Inn. And I've been several times before Reds games. He'd never been. This is going to be exciting, Joe. You're going to love this place. You're actually going to love this place. And it was just a few minutes. Get in our car, drive 5 minutes to the boathouse, forget the Bengal Rams game ever happened. And as we're driving around, he said, I can't go in there like this. I said, Joe, there's no dress code here. It's okay. I mean, it's a fancy, pretty place, but it's not to the point where they're going to kick out people with football jerseys on. He said, no, you don't understand. I can't go in there. I said, what do you mean? I'm wet. I'm like, well, I am too. What's the point? He said, no, I can't be like this. Okay. So he made me drive him to a Macy's. It was in downtown Cincinnati. So I dropped him off, and I circled the block in my car like 15 times waiting for him to come out of Macy's in a new pair of jeans, basically listening on the radio to a game that I had purchased tickets for. I didn't realize that was a thing with him. Like we've had tickets to go see the High State Buckeyes play, and like here come the Rains, and that dude's got like some hazmat suit on. I mean, he's prepared. Let's just put it that way. I didn't realize that was a thing with him. I had no idea.
So he has.
Of course, when the rain's coming down, I don't have anything, so I'm the one who looks like an idiot while everybody else has rain jackets and him with his hazmat suit on.
Fair enough. Got to be comfortable.
He's a sweet kid. I used to have to beg him to play this football with me. and I could get a quarter out of him. That's about the best I could do. But he used to love to play baseball. But his orders were always hilarious. He would lead off with like players that you ordinarily wouldn't lead off with. We would have these drafts, and here comes trotting to the plate Gary Carter. It's like, what? That guy's not fast. And his average is terrible. Why are you putting him there? And, little did I know, he may have actually been kind of smart about it, because now it's about on-base percentage and things like that. And at the time, Gary Carter walked a lot, and he was kind of smart about it.
That makes sense. So he was forward thinking on that end.
Keep chugging along. Let's go. Yes, touchdown here. Yeah, you know what? If we don't do a draft show for Autumn Win, I think it'd be good to get a preview show going, which I didn't bother to do last year after I told everybody I would.
It's hard to do it by yourself. That's what I'll say.
It is. It is. But that one's coming pretty quick, I would think, because our little expansion draft, or whatever that little extra player draft is.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got some eyes on some players in that, right? Some game changers.
Yeah, right. I don't think I'm going to participate.
Oh, really?
For the leftover players?
Yeah.
I haven't even looked. I should do that. There should be. There's hardly anybody left.
Well, it's a veritable cornucopia of who cares, right?
Yeah. You're lucky just to find somebody on a depth chart.
Yeah, no, you're right. I've kind of scoped it out. There's a couple of players on there that might serve me in a few years from now.
Cool.
Nice.
Right. There you go.
There we go. All right. According to my abacus here, it says I'm down 24 points. So, do you go for 3 twos, thinking that you can actually get 3 twos? Hal is saying that's exactly what you should do. You know what?
Sure. Why not?
There you go. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. Somebody got hurt.
Mike Williams.
Receivers this team has. He's not afraid to take that out with a touchdown and a long gain on 2-12.
Yeah, might get lucky.
In all the Strat-O-Matic leagues I've played, I've had 1 kick return touchdown. Never had a punt return. Never had the personnel.
It's coming. You'll hit it eventually, even if it's the long gain on the opponent's return card.
Well, that's right. And also, too, it also just depends on the strength of your team. There's no sense in wasting a pick on a flash-in-the-pan kick returner if your team isn't going to be great. Kind of save that pick for later on. Remember that great pick a few years ago that Tom Cook made with the special team of the Rams a few years ago in that retro league that we played?
Oh, yeah. That was a huge impact.
Gosh, it was, wasn't it?
Kick return on touchdown on 4 or something like that.
Yeah, that was like one of his first or second round pick or something. It was real early.
Yeah, second round.
Wasn't. Huh?
Well, bottom of the second round, I think.
Yeah.
So this is when you need to put, like, when you have a big lead, somebody gets a touchdown, you really need to, like, put that long drive together to eat up clock and get some more points so you're not giving them hope.
Right. And on the other hand, I need one of those, hey, fumble this ball for me real quick.
Yeah, like a snap fumble or a pick or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And Wilson doesn't turn the ball over.
Well, the guy that fumbled for you was a really low fumble chance, so you never know.
Mm. Well, I sure would like it if Montez Sweat turned out to be a good one. That would really help. That would really solidify this draft. Bush, Darnell Savage, Jeffrey Simmons, who I love.
Yeah, some really good values.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's weird to be in a position to have 3 first-round picks and the team isn't bad. It's not like we were rebuilding or anything. It just so happened, I guess, that we had 3 picks.
Well, how did you get those? Oh, because the Lawrence traded guys for the picks?
Let's see, so the Chubb trade was one.
Oh, right.
And then I've got decent corners. I mean, you can argue back and forth whether the Griffin trade was great or not, but I traded him to Tom for a 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Shaquille Griffin, but it's like that team has given up more passing yards the first 3 games than any other team in NFL history. So maybe it was a good time to get rid of him.
Well, and again, I've got Marshawn Lynch and I got Levi Wallace. So it's like, you know what, I can be cool with this. I can deal with one of these guys. I mean, Lawrence has really, the linebackers were hurt. I think that had a lot to do with, like, when I started the year, I had 0 linebackers, like, on all 4 spots.
Oh.
And I still have that 0 in Sweat, but at least he could do something. And then Devin Bush, and then Juwan Bentley maybe from New England. That's the other 4.
Yeah, that's a good pick too.
So they look better. I feel like I was able to do some damage here with this draft. I was really tickled that it kind of just worked out. Even the Benny Snell pick was looking real good until he's fumbled twice in the last 2 weeks. It looked great.
Yeah.
Where is Gore now?
He is with the Jets.
That's right. I was just halfway listening to that game yesterday, but then I heard Samar J.P. Ryan is playing for that team. Remember him from the Redskins a few years ago?
Yep. Oh no, is it P. Ryan or is it? It's LaMichael. It's a different guy.
Oh, is it? They didn't give his first name, and I thought P. Ryan was actually playing for the Bengals this year. Not playing, but he was actually on the roster. I thought maybe he got cut, and the Jets were just so desperate for depth that they picked him up. So it was a different guy.
Yeah, LaMichael P. Ryan is the guy. He's been hurt for the Jets, but he's finally coming through now. And it was Samaje P. Ryan. I don't know if they're related. That's a good question.
Oh, whoops.
Is LaMichael related to P. Ryan?
Well, that could have been worse.
P. Ryan's father, is Terrence, and his cousin. Okay, so they're cousins. LaMichael and Samaje are cousins.
Yeah, he was a decent back for the Redskins a few years ago, but I think he got hurt and missed all of last year, if I recall. And then they cut him. The Bengals picked him up, and you're hard pressed to get carries on that team with Giovanni Bernard.
I feel bad because I posted on the forum that it was going to be a double header or triple header today because there was a Tampa Bay game in the morning, and then Dallas is playing the Rams later on today.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, it's going to be a triple header, and then I don't post the game ID until halftime. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. So it's 2.5 times header.
You know, just being honest here. There are times when I'm outside mowing my lawn, and I'll go back and listen to some of these broadcasts that Tom would do, because I just laugh at the way he does these broadcasts, his little commentary between. It's actually entertaining.
Sure, and you can learn from them too.
No question. That's how I've learned how to play this game. I mean, I just to be honest with you. I've looked at a lot of videos of yours and kind of picked up. I mean, today, but I picked up a lot of strategies just by watching you play. We played a lot over the years, and you kind of get to know an opponent. There was a streak where I was getting real lucky and had like a couple of wins against you out of nowhere, just some dumb rolls. But you know, I feel like my barometer is if I can play close with a player like you, I'm doing okay. Even those games that I would lose on the last drive, it's like, you know what? That's okay. You're making progress.
Right. I think that what helps, I think, as you get more advanced is, first of all, you need to understand the rules. You need to understand why certain things happen. But then you need to like think about what could I have done differently to affect it. And then you'll get to the point where you can kind of feel what the other guy's going to call because you put yourself in his shoes. Like,
yes,
like okay, I know he's like focused on this area or this or that area, so I'm gonna go opposite. Or I know he's going to run into that guy, so I'm going to key him or double team that particular receiver in that particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's cool. Yeah, because I've watched games where you played against experienced players, and I'm like, you would call run in obvious pass situations. You would double team people that I would never think would be double teamed, and it's like, man, these moves are working. It's like they've played each other so much that they know each other's tendencies. You don't have to keep notes on these people. You've played them for so long, you know what they're thinking. So it's
right.
It's fun to watch people that have had like lots of experience with this game. It's fun to watch. And that's how you learn.
Yep, absolutely. That's funny. Like, if you look at Goff's guessed right short pass card, mm-hmm. that's probably not too dissimilar to Patrick Mahomes' double teamed column. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. And there's no must run. I mean, it's just that's an awful card. You need good receivers to make up for that.
You take away the must run and you make the pick a straight pick, and that's like probably the same chances as Mahomes has on his double team column or close to it. Look at that.
Yeah, but I think that 12 times I think in this game, it's been extremely, extremely lucky. Wow, jeez, oh man.
So yeah, he's 6'5". He's 9 completions.
Double team?
9 completions double team. I think Goff is like 12 or something like that. 12 completions. Let's look at it. So he's 6'5", 9. Yeah, he's 12. So it's not too dissimilar. Goff will be better this year, though. McVay already has him going in the right direction.
You know, it's a few days before the autumn win deadline, and I like my team a lot, but I'm so tempted to make one more trade just to strengthen my receiving core, or maybe to add a tight end. But I'm struggling with it because I've looked at rosters of teams in the past, and it just seems like the role of the running backs in this game, they kind of don't have the value.
You're talking about for your autumn win team?
Yeah.
Well, who's your running backs right now?
My running back is Adrian Peterson.
He's a very good one.
Yes, he is.
So I don't think. Who's your second running back?
My second running back is Damian Williams. Third is Benny Snell. I'm fine. Those guys are going to be fine. The thing is, it's like I'm thinking about making a trade for a tight end because I'd like to be able to play with a 2 tight end set, and my opposite sides are Ridley and Perriman. And right now, there's only one receiver that I have that is a 5 over the middle. Pretty much everybody over short is like a 4.
Right.
But at the same time, Mahomes' card is like 50% this right short. So in my head, I'm kind of like, you know what? It's not worth mortgaging like a second rounder next year just to get somebody who can pick up a few more passes that wouldn't have.
Right.
Regardless. And that's one of those things that I've always wondered this. I wanted to ask why on the guest right card of a short or a long, why they don't have receiver ratings on it, where they do on like a flat pass. Has it always been that way?
No, it's there. It's just not. Oh no, it's only guessed wrong. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been that way.
I never understood why.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, obviously, if you're on the defensive card, that's where you're going to get receiver. But why would they have it guessed right on a flat pass, but not short and long?
I think they added that in to the flat pass. Maybe it wasn't. No, but maybe, I don't know. It was always been that way since I played. So I never questioned it. But that's a good thought. It wouldn't be a bad idea if they wanted to have another mechanism for increasing the completion percentages and making the receivers cards come into play more often.
You know what? I will put that on a sticky note so that next year you have the great Glenn Guzzo.
Okay.
You can ask him.
I'll do that.
And tell him to fix that whole left linebacker thing guarding a fullback. Please get rid of that. Try to figure out some way to get it out from underneath that. I bet you they'll take that back and we'll take that into consideration. I was talking to Nathan about that. I think it's because, like, back in the day when we were playing and before they had split ratings, I bet there were a lot of outside linebackers, especially those rush linebackers, who had 5s and 6s by default because they didn't have a passer rating. And they didn't have, like, the breakdowns of who's a really good pass defender back then.
Right.
And so, like, you'd give, like, Kevin Green a 6, and to think that guy would ever cover a receiver, he wouldn't. But because he's such a tremendous pass rusher, that by default you just give him a 6. Well, now that you've got those split ratings, you got people like Chandler Jones, who the only thing they do is rush a passer, and it really punishes them. And then you got a Devin Bush who plays here in the middle as a 5, and he does nothing.
Right.
So really, really need to fix that. And I know the whole thing about, you've got house rules. No, well, you don't. On the computer, you don't have house rules. You can't play around that way. You do have the flexibility in the board game, but you just don't here. So hopefully they'll listen to that, because I think it just messes everything up when if you're playing Chandler Jones, if you're keeping him at home because you're afraid that somebody's going to play a tight end who shouldn't be playing blocking back, but only because of positional need is he back there, that you're going to take advantage of that. To me, that's a loophole. They need to fix it. They really, really should look at that. I hope they do. It sounded like he had years for it. So. See, I think we beat the over-under already, and I think the line would probably be 9 in this game. So let's see if I can get close to that. I still have some work to do to catch up with the Vegas line.
Yeah, Goff is certainly holding you back a little bit, I think.
Well, and I'll be honest with you again. This is one of those things that you got to play with this team for a few games to figure out what you can do with them. And what I've been using them a lot more for flat passes. I've been really slowing the ball down in SFFDL. Really taking the air out of the ball. Like in the first 3 games, I think I've only allowed 27 points, and my defense isn't that good. It's good run, average pass, I think. But it's because I've been just slowing it down and just plodding down the field, taking the air out of the ball. That's basically how I played. So I think it's circumstance, not defensive skill, that's led to me not allowing a lot of points. And
No, I
I
like
think
it.
with a team like this too, I probably need to. I didn't get off to a good start with the runs. Didn't catch some good rolls with that, but I probably need to be thinking a little bit more flat pass because you just don't want to find yourself in 3rd down and 8 and 9 with a guy like this with a
Guest right card that's so bad.
Yeah, you want to keep it 3rd and manageable for sure.
Yeah. Good call. Well, you got a break too on top of that. Good for you. There we go.
Yeah, nice one.
Now, this game doesn't have like year-long fatigue. SFFDL does, but this one doesn't, right?
Doesn't have what?
Like that year-long fatigue, like overusage. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, correct. You're right. Each game is its own little universe.
Yeah.
You'll have, not overusage, but you'll have running back fatigue, but you won't have
Correct.
overusage. That's a good one.
There we go.
Yeah, to be honest, Goff's stats look pretty good. 22 of 28. Just those 2 picks.
Isn't that something else? He's had some luck on that guest right card, actually.
Well, until that.
Yeah.
Should have been guessed right. No, that's right. It's a 10, not a 9. There would not be a guessed right completion versus a guessed wrong on a 9. I don't think that's how that works.
I like that penny card. You should definitely use that more.
Yeah,
Although again, when you have Mixon, you're pretty well set.
it's hard to get him off the bench.
There you go.
There you go. That is a good penny card, doggone it. Let's see. So I like my odds in keeping you under 50.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be scoring anymore.
What was that one game we were playing? Oh, shoot. I just did it. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, I
There you
got
go.
it.
Still got a chance. Down 16.
The next game. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to fix that now, since onside kicks are almost impossible.
Yeah, I
I
don't
hope
think
they
so.
don't. Huh?
Now you got to make me play a little bit.
She's drifting off over there.
See, really all you need is a big run. Then you're back in business.
Yeah.
It's not quite time out when you get out of bounds do this.
All right, I got a guess on this play. Let's see if you read it.
And I thought you'd move a whole bunch of people, but you didn't move the guy I wanted you to move.
Still got 6. You're in good shape.
Still got 6, and he got out of bounds. Boy, you don't know what it's like on the other end watching you down 6 with like 2.5 to go and just getting carved up. I think at that point, it's kind of like you're waiting for rolls that just aren't going to happen. And it's frustrating being on the other end of that, knowing that you think you can't do anything about it, but I think, when you're basically up against 4 downs, I just thought, let's try this, see what happens.
I like it.
There you go. I've been on the other end of several times where I've been up by less than a score, and then you drive down. You got 4 downs basically to get your first, and it's like death by 1,000 cuts. And you think, oh man, this is inevitable. You can't. Well, yeah, you can. There are things that you can do to stop this team, but you've got to work more on keys, correct double teams. You got to look at tendencies. Sacks. That's how you stop a team too, is you find ways to put pressure on them. And that's how you got to get like one big stop that'll turn you into now it's like, okay, it's a first down sack. And now it's like 2nd and 14 or 15 or whatever. But there's got to be a way that's the tough thing, is trying to get you out of your comfort zone. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's tough when it's like you're the way you can navigate a field with 2.5 to go. It's really something else. I've gone back and watched him and still haven't figured out a way to stop it without more double teams, basically being more aggressive, more safety blitz. It's just something to get you out of your comfort zone.
Well, I've been stopped
really. I know you're living it, so you can't quite understand what I'm saying, but it's frustrating, but that's how you learn.
Yeah, I've been stopped plenty. It's just maybe because I played so much. You're seeing these things.
Yeah. That could be good. Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you've hit a couple of those empties.
Wow. I did not like that call the second I clicked it. Thought I made a mistake. Oh, great call. That is a great call.
Still got 2. You got it.
All right. Well, I guess we still have something to play for here. That's why you don't go for too early. Oh, well.
Yeah, run call would have. Hey, you got it again.
Jeez, oh man, what are the odds of this? It's crazy. Okay.
So this is where you want to try to get into field goal range quickly.
Correct.
Kick the field goal and then try to get that third onside kick in a row.
I've had a game like that where I stretched one out. Almost. It's nice when you're coaching against somebody else and they realize what you've done. Get that field goal, nice call. It's real complimentary. Okay.
Although I am not a nice call coach. Like during the game, I'll say thanks if somebody says that to me, but I'm like so focused on the game. I'm not like typing good game, nice call, nice double. Once in a while I will on an exceptional one. But there's some coaches that like every time, oh, you called run right at the right time. Nice call. Well, not really. It was a 50-50 chance of making the right call. I guess I don't go overboard with the nice calls.
I understand. To be honest with you, the screen is too small for me to see. And so if it's a coach, that's why I'm really happy. Thanks for letting me do this. This was fun. I don't want to take away from the little football diary that you're doing. I think it's a great idea. But I'm glad that I had a chance to do this. But a lot of times when a coach is kind of chatty, I'll ask them and see if they could just do the comments in Slack so I could see it easier and I could just Google Voice my responses to them. It's just, after a while, it's like I can't keep going down to it's like I've had conversations where it's like 5 or 6 things back and forth. And it's like, I like pace. I like to get my game going and don't like to, and they're nice. And I just wish, like, we'll talk after the game. I promise you can talk it up the whole time. But
yeah, I hear you.
Well, we're getting close to field goal range. Let's see something here real quick. It's Elliott. Let me see what he can do.
I think he's 2 through 5. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 through 5 out to the 37.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, you want to get inside the 32.
Yeah. And then get a third onside kick.
Exactly. It could happen. But for the one thing I when I've recorded these things before, they're kind of just all out there. But what I'm doing this time is I'm making a playlist just for this one league. I want to see how that goes. I'm not doing this for every league where I like record while I'm playing. Are we stuck? Are you there? Looks like Michael got disconnected. I'm guessing he has to reboot his computer. So Michael's Wi-Fi has gone out. But he should be joining shortly. I'm just going to go for a sack here to see if I can end it with some panache. No, can't do it. Timeout here, kick that field goal. Still, best case scenario is him getting the ball back with a second left, I think. Got it. And the third time is not the charm. So nice, furious comeback there. So I'll shut it down here, guys. Thanks for watching. Seahawks go to 2-0.